The Arctic is melting, and so is the balance of power. Beneath the ice, a new Cold War is awakening as Russia fortifies, NATO advances, and China quietly enters the game. What was once a frozen frontier is turning into the world's newest battleground. The question isn't if tension will rise, it's how far it will go. The Arctic is no longer a frozen wasteland. It's a new battleground. As ice melts, once impassable waters are opening, revealing vast oil, gas, and new shipping routes linking Europe and Asia. Climate change has turned the Arctic from a natural barrier into a global shortcut, and every major power wants control. Russia has moved first, reviving Soviet-era bases, building new airfields, and deploying radar systems across Franz Josef Land and Novaya Zemlya. Its goal? Dominate the Northern Sea Route and secure access to hidden resources. NATO has countered fast. Joint drills like Cold Response and Arctic Forge signal readiness. With Finland and Sweden now in the alliance, the northern flank is tighter than ever. Denmark and Norway have boosted Arctic defense spending, while the US expands its icebreaker fleet. This is no cold standoff. It's a slow, calculated race for dominance. Every melting mile of ice opens new opportunity and risk. The Arctic isn't just heating up, it's becoming the world's newest front line. Russia has turned the Arctic into a fortress of steel and ice. Building on its Soviet legacy, Moscow has restored more than 50 military sites across the north, from airfields in Franz Josef Land to radar stations in Novaya Zemlya. Its fleet of nuclear-powered icebreakers, unmatched by any nation, ensures year-round access through the Northern Sea Route, the key to Arctic dominance. New weapon systems designed for the cold are now stationed there. Hypersonic missiles, advanced S-400 air defenses, and radar networks built to track any movement across the polar skies. These aren't symbolic displays, they're active deterrents, adapted for Arctic warfare where extreme temperatures cripple ordinary equipment. Russia's motive is clear: secure its 24,000-kilometer northern coastline, guard massive untapped oil and gas reserves, and control the new sea lanes opening with every melting year. For Moscow, the Arctic isn't just territory, it's leverage, economy, and identity. In the race for the top of the world, Russia isn't waiting, it's already fortified. NATO has shifted from watching Russia's Arctic buildup to actively countering it. The alliance is reinforcing its northern defenses with expanded surveillance, upgraded bases, and non-stop joint drills across the high north. Exercises like Arctic Forge and Cold Response now simulate full-scale Arctic warfare, a message that NATO's northern flank is no longer a gap, but a shield. Norway, Canada, and the US are leading the charge. Norway has modernized its Arctic airfields and radar systems. Canada is expanding patrols through the Northwest Passage. And the US has reactivated its Second Fleet with new ice-capable naval units and long-range bombers trained for polar operations. Cold-weather troop training has become routine, not rare. Finland and Sweden's NATO entry has changed everything. The alliance now controls nearly the entire northern rim of Europe, giving it deeper access to the Arctic Circle and a direct counterweight to Russia's northern strongholds. For the first time in modern history, both NATO and Russia stand face-to-face across the Arctic, not with open conflict, but with matching capability and intent. The Arctic may look calm, but beneath the ice lies tension waiting to crack. As NATO and Russia expand operations side by side, the margin for error grows dangerously thin. In an environment where visibility, communication, and navigation are constantly challenged, even a radar misread or patrol overlap could trigger a military standoff. Many Arctic facilities blur the line between civilian and military use. A port built for research or shipping can double as a naval resupply base. A communication station can serve as a surveillance hub. In any confrontation, these dual-use sites risk becoming unintended targets, turning economic assets into flashpoints. Unlike other regions, the Arctic has no strong arms control framework or crisis hotline between rival forces. With no binding treaties to manage troop movements or weapon deployments, there's little to stop a small incident, a drone interception, a near collision, a radar lock, from escalating fast. In a place where the temperature drops to -40, one heated decision could ignite a global chain reaction. The Arctic's transformation is no longer a prediction. It's a process unfolding in real time. As climate change accelerates, every melting glacier exposes new trade routes and resource fields, ensuring that competition, not cooperation, will define the region's future. What was once a frozen buffer is fast becoming an open arena for global rivalry. But it's not just NATO and Russia anymore. China has declared itself a near-Arctic state, pushing its Polar Silk Road initiative through scientific bases, research vessels, and silent partnerships with Arctic nations. Beijing's growing footprint adds a third dimension to an already delicate balance: economic influence meeting military tension. The need for diplomacy is now critical. Without clear rules, the Arctic risks turning from the high north into the high conflict zone. New treaties on resource sharing, navigation rights, and military transparency are essential to prevent misunderstandings in this fragile environment. If the world fails to act, the Arctic, once a symbol of untouched purity, could become the next geopolitical fault line, where melting ice doesn't just raise sea levels, but global stakes.
The Arctic is changing, faster than politics, faster than peace. What began as melting ice has become a race for power, technology, and survival. From Russia's northern fortresses to NATO's expanding flank, and now China's silent entry, the top of the world is no longer distant. It's the new front line. But the question remains, will the Arctic become a bridge of cooperation or the next theater of conflict? The choices made today will decide the balance of tomorrow's world. If you found this analysis insightful, stay with SkyJet Wings, where we go beyond the headlines, deep into the engines of global power. Subscribe, share your thoughts below, and join us as we uncover the next chapter in this frozen geopolitical storm.